guys, this is Golem with another Minecraft video. Woo! Own it! Yeah, and it's time for the Iron Golem farm tutorial. I used this design in my world tour and yeah, so many requests, so let's do it. Alright guys, first of all, credits where credit is due. This design was invented by JL2579 and his friends on his server, and I used it in my world tour and I got so many requests for it. So yeah, talk to JL, talk to him regularly, good friend of mine. We often, do some theory crafting and stuff like that. And yeah, he said, yeah, go for it, do the tutorial for the design, people should know how to do it. You're pretty good with your tutorials, so give it a go. So thanks again JL for giving me permission to do a tutorial for the design you invented. And yeah guys, let's get into it. Let's see how it works and then we build it step by step. Before we start building such a design in a world, you need to make sure you're far enough away from any other villages. Why and what is far enough away? Why? If a village is too close to your farm here, it will interfere, or it can interfere and mess up your spawning. And how far you need to be away? Well, it is pretty hard to judge if you have a naturally spawned village and what is the center of a village, because that is important for distances in this design, the centers of the villages. So make sure, take the house, the last house you find in the nearest village, and go at least 100 blocks away. Just stay away. 85 from center to center, that is the key number here, but as it is hard to tell how these natural villages are laid out, just go 100 blocks away and then start building. This is the edge. From here, 100 blocks away. Away. No villages close by that can totally mess up the design. That is really, really important. The design is composed of three main components. You can see the Iron Golem spawning cells here, which basically represents villages. 4 of them. Then you can see the Iron Golem transport system right there below with the water streams and an inbuilt weakening system. And we just saw an Iron Golem dropping down. Is perfect to demonstrate. So this is the Iron Golem transport system, the second part with the inbuilt weakener. Let's wait for him to get there. There we go, he's taking damage, being transported through by the water streams. There we got another one coming in. And yeah, third part, you can see it right down below. The collection area and kill chamber. Let's wait for this one, kill this batch, and let's start the building. Let's start with the spawning cells. So, as I pointed out before, and I want to say it again, it is really important to stay away from any adjacent villages. So, this represents villages now, so let's stay away. The best way to do it is you back off from the village, and as soon as you can't see it anymore in far render distance, you should be far enough away. So we're backing off till we can't see it anymore. Building the spawning cells is pretty straightforward, and if you once get a hang of it, you should be able to build more of these quite easily. To make your spawning cells, you can use any block you want. Just make sure you don't use dirt or any other block Enderman might be able to pick up, so keep that in mind. To start off a spawning cell, I suggest you go about 10 blocks, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks above the ground. You can vary this height, it's not too important, just to make sure you have at least a 3 high clearance below, so you can run your tunnels for the iron golems you will see later on. So when you're there, I'm gonna use yellow wool for the cells here. Just put a block on top. Now we're actually 11 blocks high, let's make it 10. And start off with a 20 by 20 base plate. So I'm gonna do that and be back when I'm finished. And here we go, 20 by 20 base plate, hovering 10 blocks above the ground. The next step for the spawning cells is a 3 high wall all around your base plate, just like that. So yeah, oops, let's get right to it. When you are done with your 3 high wall around your 20 by 20 base plate, just put 2 blocks right on the corners like this. I'm using the red wool here so we can see it better. And now start counting from the red corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 block. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 block. Alright, so a gap of 6, then another 6 blocks, and repeat that for the other sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, all is spaced out nicely, and I did put another few blocks on top here, so we got the 2 high walls, and now it's time to throw in doors. We need 6 doors in each of these gaps, which makes up to a total of 12 doors on each side, which then again makes up 48 doors for the whole spawning cell. And if you divide 48 by 3, you'll end up with 16, and that's the number of villages you will get with a spawning cell like these. And 16 villages is exactly enough to start spawning iron golems in the center of your village. And if you look at the layout of the cell here, you can see right there should be the center of the village. Right in the middle we got doors, and right there is the center. This is where we're gonna collect the iron golems, and we're gonna use water streams for that, and that's what I'm gonna show you next. It's not very simple, but yeah, with a little trick you can do it really easy. As I am using creative mode for the sake of this tutorial, make sure to have an infinite water source nearby so you can fill up your buckets for the build. You don't need much water to fill in large areas. First of all, that's important for this water area here. Fill in all 4 corners with a block of your choice. You have to remove it later on anyway, so pick something you can knock out quickly. Just like that. Now, in creative mode, I can of course put down water block after water block. If you would be in survival mode, you put down a water source here and there. By doing this, in the middle another water source forms, and you can just pick it up. You can see it's an infinite water source here, refilled, and you skip 1 block and put down another one. And you would do the same thing. You pick up a source block from here. It doesn't work in creative, you see the empty bucket, but you would get a full bucket, and skip another block, put it there. And by doing this you can really quickly fill up huge areas with water. So make sure not to miss anything there. Make sure to fill it in correctly so you have source blocks all along the wall here. Almost there. Oh, we forgot the corner. Let's fill that in. Okay, and when you're done, make sure to double check, but you can see already how it perfectly shapes out your center here. And if you look down the lines diagonally, you can see the water flows perfectly, so everything streams right into the middle. So what you could do next, if you want to already, you can knock out your hole, and this is where later on your iron golems will fall through. So let's get back up and finish the water setup. So if you work in vanilla mode, it can be a bit annoying, you know, to swim against the water currents. But what you do next is you knock out the blocks you had placed in the corners. Make sure not to place anything there again. And now go one block higher, and right in this corner here, put down a source block. If you go up now, you can see it forms up perfectly, the line all the way. If you wouldn't do that, if you would put the block just down in the corner and don't use the dirt, you would form infinite water sources all over the place and you would have no water streams. So do it exactly this way. So let's have a look again. You knock out all the blocks, go one block higher, put down a water source right in the corner, and you repeat that for all sides. When you are done with your water streams, make sure to provide light sources. You could, for looks, put torches all along the walls here, but if you want to save on some resources, you could go with less. I'll just use this way. This is important, to have really good lighting in here. We don't want any zombies to spawn in here and invade our villages and cause any trouble. So torches do a good job. Also, we need a certain light level in here for the whole design to work perfectly. So either go with the torches or line the outsides with glowstone, replace parts of the wall, whatever you like, lava lighting, whatever you can think of. The next stage of the build is to throw in the second layer or the second floor of the spawning cell. We do that to increase the spawn rates of these cells. And in the end, when we're done, we will have an average of a 6-minute spawn rate for an iron golem. So that means about every 6 minutes an iron golem will spawn. That is pretty decent, and if you think about it, if you have 4 of these cells, well, you divide that time by 4 and end up with 1 minute and 30 seconds where an iron golem should spawn. And that is pretty decent. You will get a lot of iron while you work in your world, and later on you'll be able to harvest it. So now, just on the inside, do this ring, and yeah, we need to put a floor in. Alright, everything is covered up now, and now we should start to do the wall for the upper spawning area of the cell. And what you do is just make a 2-high wall all around the upper floor here. Just wall it in. When you are finished with that 2-high wall this time, not 3 as it was below, well, we do the same thing. Put 4 blocks in the corners and repeat the same pattern as below. Copy the water design to end up with a 2-layer iron golem spawning cell. So I'll finish that and I'll be back with the finishing touches. The top portion of the water is also finished, and as before, stand in your middle maybe, check if everything is lined up correctly, looks good, and then you can poke out the middle, and there we go, 2-layer spawning space. Check again from the bottom here to the top, 4 high clearance, everything looks fine. And now we should take care of the villager holding cells. The design I show you today in this tutorial is a further development of the design I use in my world tour, and it is SMP proof and also ready for 1.3. So what you do next is you marked it out nicely here, the area, the 6 wide 2 high area. Right below it go out 5 blocks. Same thing on the other side. Close it off and you will end up with a 4x4 area. I'm gonna fill in yellow wool here. And we can have a look from on top. You can see it, 4x4 area where you will hold your villagers. Next step, walls. 2 high for now. So you end up with this. So what the problem was, mobs could glitch through the corners and whatnot. The trick we're gonna use, we're gonna put water in all 4 corners. And if I don't touching any directional keys, I will always end up right here in the middle. And this way, we're gonna force the villagers to be most of the time right here in the center, and thus not be somewhere close to the corners or here or there, be able to glitch out. To finalize the spawning cells, or holding cells better say, put another row of blocks on top, and here you can already put in the ceiling. I used glass blocks in my demonstration setup. I will do that here again. This is just so we get a better effect and can see what's going on better. You could use whatever you want. You could cover that with half slabs. That is useful. You could have mob spawns on here if you don't provide additional light source. So basically half slab it all around here. Better be safe than sorry. And you could also replace these glass with half slabs. So now just repeat that for all the other sides. We're almost finished with the holding cells, and now let's talk about how to get the villagers in there. That is a bit tricky and takes the longest time for this build, I'd say. Well, there's 2 ways you could do it. As I said, you have to be far enough away from the adjacent villages, and you did that. 100 blocks, nothing near us, so you got to transport villagers. What you need to start the breeding in one of these cells is 2 villagers in each holding cell. The rest will work by themselves. They will start breeding and fill up the village they find here. So either you transport them over one by one with the minecarts, and I can show you in a second how that is done, or you use an infinite breeding cell for villagers. I did a tutorial for that as well, and I will provide a link to that in the video description so you can check it out. And yeah, bring 2 villagers or 3 over, start infinite breeding close by, and then use that to fill up your setup. Make sure later on, if you build an infinite breeding cell close by, or if you have any villagers in the vicinity of the design, kill them or put them in there. Get them away at least 100 blocks. They could mess up your system. Make sure that does not happen. Otherwise the system is really foolproof and fail-proof. Now I will demonstrate 2 good methods to transport villages around. One method involves water, the other method tracks and minecarts. So let's look at the water solution first. If you have a villager close by, let's say you transported them over, or you made an infinite breeding cells, you used fishing rods, whatever, but you got them close by and want to transport them up, just put them in a simple water elevator, tap them, and they will swim up. And this way you could transport villages up around your cells here. I did that in my world tour partially, just had water elevators going up to the cells that will be on top. So this is one method. And to generally transport them around, the minecart method seems to be the best. You will not hurt them, and it's really safe, and you can control them nicely. So to pick up any entity, also villagers, just push a minecart in them when they're standing still or when they're walking by, and they will end up in there. What you do then is you have some powered tracks and bring them up to your spawning cells or holding cells. I have a stopper block here, and well, you could push them in there with the minecart, without, doesn't matter much. Important thing is you get them in here somehow. Break out the minecart in the end. Come on, break, knock the hole in the floor, bad. Yeah, and this way you put them in there. Keep in mind, 2 in each spawning cell, and of course later on when we space out more of these things, it's going to be pretty annoying to bring them up. As I said, this is the hardest part of the build, but when you use these water elevators, you can speed up the process a lot. Keep in mind, if you go longer distances, have signs ever so often. This is all source blocks. Don't use single water streams. It's not good enough to put one water block on top and let it flow down. You have source blocks in each and every one of these. ever so often, every 20 blocks or so, put in a sign, so you give them some air, and that should be fine, and you should be able to fill in all your breeding cells, and I will do that now. Aha, offspring. Yeah. We can see the breeding is starting. We got all 4 cells filled in. There we go, another one. They already did their job, and here as well. So we already got 12 villagers in there. Now you just have to wait for them to grow up. They will keep on breeding, and if you put them in there kind of simultaneously, they will fill in the breeding cell nicely. A tip would be fill in 1 villager in each, and when you're done with that, make sure to quickly fill in another one in each of these cells, so they're spaced out equally. If there's a disbalance in the cells, it doesn't matter. Just make sure to have at least 2 at each side, and there can be more than on other sides, and it will eventually happen, so it can get out of sync, no problem. And this basically concludes the tutorial for the spawning cell. And now it's time to space out more of these babies and finalize the project. Looking forward to that, so stick with me. Time to pimp it up. To extend the setup, we're gonna put a spawning cell on top first. So let's check out where we need to put it. That is really important. Don't make any mistakes here. Now it's time to bring up your F3 screen. Shift F3, and you don't have the ugly coordinates in the right corner there, the debug graphs. So let's check. We are at Y. Our Y coordinate is interesting for us. Y 75.6. Now we need to add to that exactly 70. So we end up at 145.62 Y. You can see the Y coordinate changing when I jump. Okay, so we need to jump stack up, and I'm gonna use the pink wool here, and I'm gonna jump stack up till we reach the exact location. We reached 145.6 Y. Let's double check. 145.6 minus 70 should be 75.6. Let's jump down. Stand here, 75.6. So everything is set up correctly. And you can see this block here is right at the floor. Right there is the water. That's where we started our base plate, the 20 by 20 base plate. So now you go up. And exactly at, say it again, 145.6, so 70 blocks on top of the lower base plate. You will start your next base plate. You will do another 20 by 20 here and do the exact same thing as you did below. And I'll skip forward, I'll use MC Edit and clone it and put it in here, and then we'll continue with the tutorial. Alright, that is done. We got the second cell on top here. Let's double check again. See the pink block right where the floor is of our 20 by 20 area. Y 145.6. Oops, missed it. 75.6. Don't do it differently or it will not work. And haha, talking about working, got the first iron golem here. He spawned in one of the cells. That means we got 16 villagers already. Yeah, 4, 4, 4, 4, and I suppose it's the same on top. So we already got a working iron golem farm here. Well, this is not really useful yet because you have to transport the golems away. Make sure they reproduce, because if they're close by they will not spawn any new ones. So that's why we need the transportation system you saw in the demo setup. And the next step is to provide another one of these towers. So let's do that. I will tell you how to space them out. I was adding these support beams with the black wool now, just to give us a better visual how it is spaced out and all. And what you should do when you start working on your second tower is just put a single dirt block or something right in there, and at least in the top portion of the farm, golems will keep on spawning, and when you activate it you will already have a huge load of iron golems collected down in the pit there. So, to space it out, make sure not to go towards your village. Our old or demo setup is over there. So we're going this way, or that way. We stay away. You can also of course go this way if there's no village close by. But to measure it out, that is really important again. You start at the outer edge here. And now you need to go 65 blocks exactly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will count that out and see you when I'm done. 65 blocks down. Time to double check, bring up F3 and stand right about in the middle here. You see we are at 71x, the x coordinate is interesting now, 71. So 71 minus 65, if you go in that direction, you see x is decreasing, should be 6. So let's check it. Yeah, 6. If we would inch over here a bit, it would be exact. So 65 blocks difference. And now, this is where you start your next platform. So right here, where the yellow line ends, right there, the 20 by 20 start platform. Whoops, fell off that thing. 20 by 20 start platform, and you do the exact same thing. And I'll be back when I'm done with that. So, for me, a few minutes in this tutorial. For you, potentially a few hours later, you end up with this. You have the second tower ready, and we have the distance of 65 blocks in between them. If you want to space them out differently, some information, you can do the math about the spacing out yourself then. The centers of the villages, right there, needs to be 85 blocks apart, at least. If you get any closer, you know, they can link up and can mess up your system. But this concludes the tutorial for the spawning cells. Next up, you need to do the water streams and the kill chamber, but that is a quick job compared to the major build. We see some drop in over there, so it's working nicely already. Let's keep on going, guys. So let's get going on the golem tubes. They're there to transport them away from the spawning cells and also to weaken the golems so we can quickly kill them off while we store them. Alright, so what you need to do, important here, go at least 3 blocks down. That is enough. Keep in mind, the iron golems have a head clearance of 3. So you can't go with 2 wide tubes. But also they are 2 blocks wide, and that is an advantage for the tubing. So I'm gonna use glass. You can use whatever you want. I'm just gonna use glass to give us a better visual. And yeah, the first stage is to connect the 2 spawning cells, or spawning towers we could call them now, with the block of your choice. And you see the 3 high clearance beneath the spawning cells here, or towers, whatever, our spawning areas, and you just connect that. Simple as that. Are we there yet? Yeah, almost. Whoop. Just make sure you end up with a shape like that, and to connect the way back. So I'll be doing that and keep on working on the tubes here. When you are done with the floor of your tubing, it's time to put down the walls. Well, just 3 high. You can see I already installed it on this side, and you just do the same thing. So go back all the way and encase the transportation tubes. The tube is done, and now it's time to work with water and science again. Now your infinite water spring you had close by will come in handy again, because this time you will have to run back and forth quite a lot, so it's smart to set up a infinite water source somewhere here or in the middle, break out some of the glass and work your way to the middle. What you do is put down water source blocks and create these two wide streams, and whenever the water ends you put down signs. If you are not using glass, if you're using different building materials here, you could of course use pressure plates or anything else that stops the water but doesn't block the path of the mobs. The advantage now is, and you can see it already here, as the iron golems are too wide, you don't need any fancy connections or whatnot, just signs next to source blocks. And you keep on going like this, and you work your way towards the middle. Just make sure you don't go too far, so it might be useful, you know, to go back and forth, put down 2 or 3 source block rows here and then go back, and you will find out the middle by itself. Just double check you don't go out of sync or you're not symmetrical anymore. But working your way to the middle seems to work best here. You need a few source blocks, but it's doable. Also the resources here, wood, reproducible. Overall, this design is pretty resource friendly. Of course it's labor intensive to make it, but in any case, if you compare it to the time you spent mining and what you could do with all the iron you get from there, if you choose to make one, it's a huge advantage. So we got 4 water streams in there right now. Let's check the other side. We got 3 in there, so let's put 2 more down and we should be able to reach the middle. In the middle we're gonna provide our harvesting chamber, and in between we're gonna use lava to weaken them. The reason we do that, we use these lava blades, is to make the killing just quicker. I'm gonna show you how to set them up so they're exactly weakened to 1.5 hearts. That is the lowest you can get them before they die, and you will be able to kill them off real quick. So you see the middle shapes out real nicely. Let's stand back a bit. Always make sure to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we find the middle. You can see that easily where the water stops and has no current. Right there is your center. As we know where the middle is now, we should start thinking about the collection area. What you need is a 2x3 area, so you just stand in the middle here and place a sign right next to you, left and right. And you end up with this 2x3 area. You can actually break out this glass. So anybody who is a silk touch, alright, if not, sorry. So, let's keep on going. Now we need to think about the lava blade. Why do we use it? I said it before, we want to weaken them and make them more easy to kill. And you could also use alternative methods. Think about something. I'm going to show you this now because I think it's really useful. So if we are an iron golem, we are 3 blocks tall. So if you had a lava blade right there on top, we would take damage from that. And we're going to take advantage of their height and provide a lava blade who does the job for us. To create the lava blade, you start right here where the sign is. You can see there's 2 more water streams coming towards the middle, so right here you start. You put down a sign right on top of it, right next to it, and you repeat that pattern for the other side. Just like that. And now you need to put down quite a bunch of signs to line up the water channel here, and you work your way towards the middle, and we're gonna go for 15 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And to cap it off, another sign. So 15 signs to hold up the lava. Of course, you have to repeat the pattern on the other side. after we copy the design to all 4 walls, you can see that here, signs 15 blocks long, always make sure to cap off the ends. It's time to fill in some lava. I'm gonna waste a bit of it here for the tutorial. You could use less because it flows out for 3 blocks. So if you put down lava in here, you can see how it spaces out nicely. And you can put your next lava source block here and so on. But I will just fill it in because yeah, creative, so we can waste a bit. But as a thinner lava blade would do as well, just make sure to cover the whole 15 blocks here. Before we move on to the last part of the tutorial, which is the collection cell, we will quickly demonstrate what happens if the iron golems go through the lava blade. So I unplugged one of the towers here and let's get 1 or 2 golems going. Let's get 2. Yep. Can't stop him now. Let's try it this way. Okay. So you see the iron golems go through the lava blade there. Are being pushed by the water. And will end up down here for now. And we can test now they're really weak. One-shot kill. With an iron sword, I suppose if you use a stone sword it could be the same. If you fist punch them, 4 punches. And that will help us later on if you want to kill them here in the collection chamber, which is the last and final part of this tutorial. Last but not least, it's time to make a collection area. To do this, you simply, I'm gonna use iron here because I don't want it to burn. I'm a bit afraid if I use wool it might burn down. Put down 5 blocks right beneath your collection area here, right in the middle. Same thing on the other side, just mirror it, then go to the back side of it. Your collection area will be up in front and create this T shape here. 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a platform around it. 5 by 6. There you go. You have your basic shape already. Next up, we need to put down walls. Look up, you see you're beneath your chute. So let's close off the sides like this. And also the other side. And you could use glass for the top portions if you want to. I prefer glass. Sorry, you don't need that one. For good visibility, it's useful to see what's going on. But also glass enables mobs to glitch through. But iron golems glitch through everything. I will talk about that in the end of the video. And I will tell you how to fix that. Or yeah, to prevent the loss of some iron. Okay, so that's the basic shape for now. Now we need to think about water sources to collect the iron. So just put down 2 blocks right here and a pressure plate right up in front. Now inch out a bit and put down 2 blocks. Oops. Just like that. So you create a shape like that. And you should fill in water now. So let's grab some. This will give us the perfect water setups. You can see, if you look at it now, stream goes diagonal here and streams to the middle, so we won't lose any drops from inside this zone. Let's get behind the setup. You can close it off here with iron or any block you want. To finalize the design, we need to do some very simple redstone. So get in there, use 2 blocks to get rid of the water. It helps a bit to work in there, and make sure you go 3 blocks up. 1, 2, 3. This is the head level of the iron golem, and poke a hole in there. Go around to the other side, put down a block where the piston can rest on, and you need 1 sticky piston here. Just jump up a bit, put it in there, and I'm gonna use pink wool to kill the iron golems. Make sure it's head level, so as I said before, 3 blocks high. And now it's time to wire the piston up. We need to grab the signal from the pressure plate to extend the piston. Made a little staircase here and dug out a bit to just go below and place down blocks where your pressure plate is. The pressure plate is right there, so we're gonna bring the signal back. Really simple. Just like that. Now we need to bring the signal up. We can use vertical wiring with torches here, redstone torches. 1. Knock this one out. 2. Now the default is off, and you saw we had a quick pulse here, but we can easily fix that, whoops, by stepping on the pressure plate, and voila, very simple. As soon as we approach the trap here or the collection area, pressure plate becomes activated and kicks out the piston. So it's time to knock out the wool again. The pressure plate holds the water back. We can put in some glass, and that's about it. That's the collection chamber. Really simple. Doesn't need much redstone, doesn't need any timing. That is what the lava does for us. We can just quickly run up, step on it, and kill some golems. And now we've been spending a long time working on the design. We should have stored up quite a bunch of iron golems. So I'd say let's give it a test and finalize the tutorial. Alright, we got one coming through the stream, and as you can see, taking nice damage from the lava blade. Make it to the middle and end up in the collection area right there. There's the next one coming already. We got quite a bunch of them stored in there, and they're bumping each other around. Take a while for them to find their way through. But the system works stable now. Next golem made it through. And if you step on the pressure plate, only takes a short time. Few seconds, maybe 1 or 2 seconds to kill them. Can harvest our loot, get out of there, and that's it for the Iron Golem farm tutorial. I hope you liked it, guys. Please share this video, let the community know how it is done with the Iron Golem farm here. It took me quite a while to make this video, a full day of building and building it twice and testing and making sure everything is correct. So your support and likes are much appreciated on this one. I'm out. Bye bye, guys. And of course, if you have questions, comment section. One important side note, guys. Look at it. Yeah, cool, it worked. Iron golems, they glitch through walls like crazy. We got a bunch of them stored in there. I don't know even how many. And you can see them wandering around here, and they wandered over there. They all came from the middle. This happens if you store up a lot of them and then relog. They will glitch through anything, through walls and whatnot. So always make sure, before you log out, pay a visit to your Iron Golem farm, step on the pressure plate, get a crap load of iron, and then log out. Come back next time to harvest again.
Wide to the ceiling, I'm lying on my back stuck in the center of a room. I've got a voice giving me a funny feeling. It's telling me the world's gonna end real soon. I've gotta get a job, otherwise I'm unappealing. Do my little dance for the man and consume. So I let my energy build for the healing, so I can rain down with my supersonic boom. I'm held down but I fall on my way to the top, all clouded and the pressure won't rise. I'm on a mission to the sky with the stars in my eyes, and the weather won't come from my eyes. Like a ball on a chain that is strapped to my brain. I'm a prisoner inside of my dreams. So I will appreciate the future of a day where the clouds open up and scream. And I sing now, I ain't gonna spend my time wondering why I never made it, no. I've already